Okay, coming in for match 2 of this Karn Amulet League. A little bit of a disappointing match 1. Lost to the Grief Ephemerate deck. I think both our losses sort of revolved around our opponent discarding all the threats out of our hand and us not drawing any additional threats. It's possible game 3 my Pact for Azusa was a little too aggressive. It let my opponent draw a card. It meant we had one less threat, but I kind of felt with 2 threats in hand that I was in an okay spot after that, but obviously things didn't go the way we would have liked them. This hand's a keep. It represents a turn 2 Karn, so obviously against the Lur's deck there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Is this mill, I guess? Current list isn't really well prepared for mill. Interesting. I feel like the bobbling should have maybe happened first, just to see if they wanted to mill me or mill next turn. But maybe they just want information. So we'll see what our opponent's up to. Mishra's Bauble, not a card, and Thoughtsky are not cards I really usually see in the mill decks. So we are in the 0-1 bracket though, so anything can sort of happen in the 0-1 bracket of modern leagues. Speaking of anything happening in the 0-1 bracket, Bitter Blossom is not, cards you normally expect to see in modern, but opponent is playing a Bitter Blossom, which is their right to do. Not sure what I'm doing with this Karn. Maybe a Walking Ballista, keep the Bitter Blossom in check. Could do a Relic of Progenitus. It does seem like maybe our opponent cares about there being cards in our graveyard. A couple of cards in blue-black that sort of like into the story type effects. I think the most sensible thing for me to do is just start with grabbing Walking Ballista and work from there. Bitter Blossom on turn 2 is definitely when it is strongest, so, I mean, it is going to be sort of an annoyance this game, but I don't think it's going to ever rise to the level of a threat that we can't go over the top of. Spreading Seas, not particularly a card I care about. Karn doing a nice job of shutting down the bobble. Dryad's an interesting pickup. Good boat here. I don't hate doing that. I think I will. So, make my land drops. I mean, even if it eats a Force of Negation, that's a Force of Negation that isn't being targeted towards a Summoner's Pact. So I suppose I could also Dryad and then like Ballista on 4 and then plus on the Bobble. I don't hate that either. Or like Ballista on it with 2 counters. Yeah, I mean that's probably just objectively better. Boat is a fun line, but I don't know if that's the optimal way to approach what's going on. Okay, so Cavern of Souls seems like a good card. Endurance maybe matters. I don't know, some graveyard things seem to be going on. I'm also just going to grab Cultivator Colossus. Just blue-black makes me afraid of, like, Necromentia, Surgical Extraction, that kind of thing. Cut the castle with the 3rd cavern. I think I can cut an Azusa. Maybe think about cutting a Karn. You just cut a Summoner's Pact. Now I'm bringing in Colossus. I got the 4 Karns. It's like with Cavern of Souls, Summoner's Pact isn't even really a reliable threat. It's making me question this Endurance though. If I'm cutting Summoner's Pact, like, kind of feel like Summoner's Pact is better than Endurance, but we'll give it a shot like this and we'll see how things go. Got a nice diversity of threats going on. Maybe cutting a Saga would have made sense, given we've seen Spreading Seas from the opponent. Yeah, I think maybe if we make it to game 3, I think I'll probably cut a Saga. I'm just gonna play into the Spreading Seas. If it happens, it happens, you know. I don't think this hand has the luxury of playing around it. Spells Pierce is an interesting one. If our opponent goes Spell Pierce into Spreading Seas, that'd be a pretty big blowout on their part. So opponent definitely best turn 1 into turn 2 that they can have. Still not convinced we're in a bad spot though. I mean, we're just basically a ramp creature away from putting out a reasonably quick Titan with a Cavern of Souls. Good chance this Summoner's Pact ends up grabbing an Azusa eventually. We'll see. See if they have the second Spreading Seas. Definitely a very reasonable thing for them to have based on their play patterns, but once again, I don't think this hand has particularly the luxury to play around it. It's like rogues, it looks like. Tribal rogues. So we're gonna be milling some cards. Endurance might be an important part of our game plan. Dryad, good pickup here. Don't know if our opponent can just beat Dryad into Titan. I mean, our opponent's draw is like best piece of interaction into best piece of interaction into 2 threats into sort of Lord. There's a good chance we just, I don't know, win anyway. Because Amulet is a busted deck. We have up, like, Pact for Endurance, if that ends up being a somehow profitable play, like if our opponent tries to surgical something. They might mill over the Endurance, of course. Might be good for, like, if our opponent tries to do, like, a drown and lock. Really feel like our opponent has some sort of like drowning block or something. Fatal push. Okay. Okay, well, you cannot counter this spell. So, Cavern of Souls, maybe ruining our opponent's day. I suppose the Boros Garrison is in our graveyard. So what do we want? Just another Primeval Titan? Kinda just want to get like another Primeval Titan. And I kind of want to get like Simic Growth Chamber, Cavern of Souls, and then just hold up Endurance, like Summoner's Pact, and then hold up, or just like hold up Summoner's Pact for Endurance if they decide to attack. Maybe I'm supposed to Summoner's Pact now, though, just so they can't counter the Pact. Yeah, so I'll just Summoner's Pact now. They can see the Endurance. I'm not particularly caring so much about the ambush aspect of it. I suppose it leaves us dead to specifically double Spreading Seas. Okay, opponent's seen enough. Cool. See everyone for the next match.